Hello. In this video I would like to introduce briefly the pros and cons of R or Rstudio. Rstudio is the interface by which you use R. So these are not two different things. This is simply the interface, Rstudio, for the software that is expressed in R. So first we go to the advantages. It's very powerful and flexible. It gives you very detailed control over your data. You can do with your data anything you want to do. There is a very active worldwide development community which is always creating new packages for special applications. So in your field, if there is a special statistical test or a statistical transformation, you probably can do it in R. There are many resources on the web for using R in answering questions. You may see my previous video about web resources for Rstudio for some of these resources. R usage is growing rapidly, more rapidly compared to all other statistical softwares. It's growing much more rapidly than SPSS or Minitab or any other kind of software. It's also very similar to Python, which is another popular software for data science. So if you know R, you can learn Python very easily. Let me go to the next page. Disadvantages of Rstudio. It is command-based. You need to type commands into the command window or the source window. It's not button-based. You cannot do things in R by clicking on a button. So you either have to remember or look up the commands. Sometimes it's good to have programs where you have the commands written and you go back and you can modify those programs. But you cannot accomplish much in R just by clicking on buttons. Some knowledge of how computers use variables and arrays is required. R uses data frames. You need to understand how the data fits in a frame. You need to understand how to refer to data within the frame using indexes. So some basic knowledge about variables in computers is required. R is not for the occasional user. If you don't use it often, you will forget and have to relearn. Using Rstudio effectively requires internet connectivity. R has many libraries that must be downloaded when you need them. And if you need help looking up a command or finding out how to do something, the best way is to use Google. So Rstudio does work best if you have an internet connection. Finally, some libraries in Rstudio may not work with 32-bit computers. So, if I would like to summarize what we've mentioned, I believe that Rstudio is the way of the future, but for some users the time is not yet to start using Rstudio. So you may judge for yourself whether you're ready to use Rstudio or not.